Welcome to Hanson Legacy Farm. Today we're out in the garden area trying to clean it up and get ready for the gardening season to ramp back up. I know that this summer we have, just because of the heat and the way Darren's been working, our garden suffered quite a bit. Typically I would be out here working in it, but with the heat and it was just too hard to take care of it. We're going to get it ready for the fall season. I'm so excited about that. So Darren will tell you a little bit about the things that we have to get that going.
So what we used the trellis last year for our cucumbers. Before that, we had a few beans in here. The beans really didn't do that well, but
No.
I just planted right behind that some national pickling cucumbers and also some straight 8 cucumbers that did really well.
Right.
We was able to get a harvest out of that. Made some pickles, put some pickles up in the,
right. So I made a pickling video. First time I'd ever pickled the cucumbers before, so that was a learning thing for me.
Yeah, so we moved on from cucumbers now. As you can see, the vines are they're gone. It's gone. Regardless, here we are. We're gonna try to start we're starting our fall garden. We have some seeds that we have actually put out. Some of them got a little leggy on, so we're gonna try to save them.
Right.
We may have to replant some more. We'll have to look at it. We'll be sharing that with y'all here shortly.
Right. Well, and the thing of it is when we started our seed starts, I don't think that Darren and I either one expected them to sprout in 3 days. Was that?
And I think we got grow lights over them. The grow lights, if you're not careful out here, I know for sure the grow lights will actually cause them to be leggy.
Right.
I think we kept the lights on too much.
Right.
And we might have overwatered them a little bit too, because I know sometimes when I hear, I'm not an expert on that, but if you keep them too wet, sometimes they may get a little leggy from that too. But we've not our first time to put out seeds and
start our seed starts.
So we did real well last spring with that. We had a lot of tomatoes. I mean, just about everything we did was, I'd say about 70% of what we planted last year came out of seeds. So we're really this is like our second year of doing that. So we're learning. We're still in a learning curve of that. So, but the leggy plants, sometimes I found that you can plant them a little bit deeper, but I hear that it will still affect the plant throughout its life cycle if you let them get leggy. So we'll see what we can salvage. If not, I'm going to kind of press for time now that we've let it go. If you count back from our first frost date back, some of these plants require 80 plus days. And
we're pushing it, aren't we?
Yeah, we're pushing it. Really, to be honest with you, with last winter and the winter before that, and then the summer we had, and last summer, it's unpredictable what the weather's going to do. I mean, we can look at the Farmer's Almanac, and they're saying we're going to have a bad winter from what I've seen. So, regardless whether it comes early or not, because normally our winters here are really January, February.
Yeah, so we have a good amount of time to get our crop in. Yeah. So I feel like confident that we can do that.
We'll get something out of it. We may not get all the way,
May not get as much as we expect.
Normally, fall is a really productive time for us here where we're at in our zone, because I mean it just stays fairly decent as far as weather. I mean we try to stay with plants that can handle the upper 40s and the 50s and get up in the 60s or 70s during the day like in November and December. But every once in a while we'll have a frost sneak in here and zap us. So in November or
October.
Yeah,
we've had them in the end of October.
So, but usually with broccoli and cabbages and
they can handle that
stuff like that. The brassicas, they can handle a little bit of frost. Not a hard frost, but they can handle
a light frost.
A light frost.
Yeah. These are some of the tomatoes I left to let go. I did not cut these back when I did the pruning video. And we do have a few tomatoes, little bitty tomatoes on here. We've got this to clear out, so we're going to be working on that. And we're going to leave these tomatoes right here. We're going to see what happens to them. markers in the ground are all brittle and cracking, and I didn't do so well with my tomatoes this year that I cut back. I didn't come out here and water them as often as I should have, so typically in the past we've had luck with trimming them back, but because of the kind of summer we had this year and me not coming out here, it looked like they were going to bloom. In fact, they had some dried up blooms on them. I wished I would have gotten out here and done better at taking care of them. I don't know if any of you guys have ever had a season like that where you just couldn't get out here and do it. So looking forward to being able to get out here and do more growing than we ever have before. We actually had a really good harvest of tomatoes this year. I was able to blanch them and put them in the freezer. So I didn't do too bad on the tomatoes this year. I just wish that we could have had a longer stand of tomatoes. Tumbleweed. And Darren's going to cut the tomatoes back. The cows love to be fed over the fence. The only thing is they start pushing the fence down. So we're going to have to redo the fence. Probably would help if we didn't toss food over to them, but they love to be fed over the fence. They love the extra grass and things that we can feed the cows out of the garden. They also like to try to eat my cantaloupe vines when we have cantaloupe growing. They reach their head over the fence and start nibbling and pulling on the cantaloupe vines. Also going to be picking up the wood that we have holding down the fabric, because when I researched about the stink bugs and the squash bugs, they like to hibernate underneath old wood. That's a bad thing to have in your garden, is wood holding down your fabric. That's just a perfect place for bugs to hide. So I'm going to remove that. I think I'm going to pull it up and go pot it in your grow pot.
You may want to dig it up.
Well, it's already got roots. I'm going to go, it's got flowers on it. It's one that I trimmed back, I believe.
It's just a cherry tomato.
Put it in your pot, the grow pot, the self-watering pot. Let me see if I can get it to grow. I think I will. Got blooms on it. So we're going to be putting this little tomato when I move the lumber away from the. Yeah, I will. I'll cut that one off. But whenever we move the lumber away from the garden, this was underneath it, and I accidentally pulled it up. You got your cutters? Okay. So because this is a tomato, I can plant it pretty deep even though it has roots. And Darren's going to put
it to one side?
Yeah, I'm going to put it to one side because we may be planting more things in here with it. Well, I guess I could put it in the middle and then we can plant around it. How about that? Kind of have to go over to the side a little bit. And Darren is putting the tomato and vegetable garden fertilizer in there.
12, 10, 5.
Yeah. And then I'll go get a tomato cage. This is a cherry tomato. I don't know, are cherry tomatoes determinate or indeterminate? Do we know?
That one that I planted, I believe it came from with the indeterminate.
Okay, so this is an indeterminate cherry tomato, so it's going to go wild. Might not have been the best thing to plant in this pot, but since I pulled it up and I want to give it a chance to survive, I'm going to go ahead and put it in here and leave it up here on the chicken coop patio or the porch. And Darren's going to fill up the spigot to fill up the reservoir to our self-watering pot. I'm going to go get the funnel for him. want to find the hole. Okay, so I want the hole to drain out into the yard. So I'm going to turn this around. And we'll do it that way. As Aaron water fills this up, the water should come out of the hole in the bottom. So the first time that the wicking pot is used, you want to go ahead and put some water on the top to moisten your soil.
It's like charging, you got to charge it up.
Right, and then Darren went ahead and filled it with water, and it did run out of the hole down here. And I turned the hole where it would drain off of the patio, of the porch into the yard.
Let that sit and see what it does. Because I let all of the peat moss in there, it's going to soak all that water up.
Right, and this little cherry tomato plant's going to be a happy camper with these cool temps. Yeah. And now being in some moist soil. It already has blooms, so we'll see what it does. So what are we using to fill our pots with?
Miracle-Gro potting mix.
Miracle-Gro potting mix. Is that for seed starting, or is it just regular potting mix?
We've already started it. Now we're transplanting it up.
Right. Okay. While you fill them with the potting mix, I guess I can pop them out of the tray and put them in the soil. So what do you want to start with? What do you want to start with?
Start with that saddle. Well,
we want to probably use the bigger ones for the
the pak choi stuff. We need to probably get the.
Well, here's your zucchini. Do we want to use some for zucchini?
Yeah, because we're going to harden them off a little more before we can plant them.
Right.
That needs to happen this week. Then they need to be in the ground by next weekend.
Yeah. So if I can pop this out.
We
usually have a little tool to do it with. You know where your little tool is? This is coming out pretty easy. I just want to make sure I get all of the roots. There you go.
So this is a dark green zucchini. We're just going to pot it up into another pot. And so what I'm doing now is I'm going to retransplant or up potting this. It's a dark green zucchini, and I'm planting it. I'm going to put it pretty deep in the pot because we
let it get a little
leggy on it.
Yeah.
So plan is to plant it pretty deep. Hopefully it can. That way it can get up on its own and hopefully stand back up, set some roots, and then get ready by next weekend, or this coming weekend. Because I believe we're supposed to get some rain with cooler weather, so hopefully the plan is by this next weekend that one's going in the ground.
Right. We're going to do all the dark green zucchini first, right, Darren?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to do one variety at a time.
Right.
Because last time I did this, we had a guessing game.
Right, we sure did, didn't we?
I failed to label good.
Right.
My labeling. We had a lot of tomatoes. I guessed after they got up a little ways and started putting on some tomatoes, I kind of figured out what they were, but until then, they were kind of just all over the place.
Right. So we need to make sure that we label a little better this time. Okay. So you want to do all of the dark green zucchini in the red pots, and then do the other plants in the other color pots and kind of color coordinate?
Yeah, as long as I got some that are deep enough.
Right.
These other ones are not deep enough.
Okay, well, we can do
I got some other deeper pots, but we can.
Right, but we have
I got the Sharpie in the house. We can mark them too.
Right. So this one is
That's that, what is it?
Sugar Daddy. Let's see, what is this? I'm trying to look at the.
That's a sweet peas.
Oh, those are sweet peas.
Yeah, I did. Not all of them germinated, so I got 4 out of, I think. What I put up? I don't remember how many, if I put 12 or 6 out, but I only got 4 of them germinated. So
right.
But that's fine. They'll come up pretty fast because I want to put these in on the trellis over there, and I want to plant some more in ground. Just put them in the dirt. And
what about this green magic broccoli?
Yeah, we're going to have to look at that.
This is pretty leggy.
Yeah, we may be able to get a few of them out of there. I don't know.
You want to put those in the deeper pots, or you want to put them in the smaller pots?
You talking about let's stick with the squash first.
So I think you have enough of the red pots for the zucchini.
We've got them laying there. They're kind of tangling up. We used to grow more yellow squash than we did zucchini, and then once we got starting to find out that zucchini was a little more versatile than yellow squash, doing desserts and you can make pasta noodles out of them. You can make That's already got a little bloom on it, y'all.
Oh, cool.
See it right there?
Where's the bloom?
Right there. Right there.
Oh, okay. Let me get it up there where they can see it.
It's in the seed transplant, the seed starter, and it's already trying to put on a bloom.
Right there where my finger is. Y'all, I'm so ready for fall and to be able to harvest more food. This is so exciting to be able to be out here and do this today, as hot as it's been. Kind of rejuvenates your very soul and gets you going.
This one's even got more on it.
I don't know if you can see what he's doing.
Nancy and Hollis and Nancy have a channel. They live in Florida, and he made a big seed starting tray or seed starting rack. It's got shade cloth on it, and
They're in Florida now, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a Cadillac. So but he lives in more of a hotter, arid area than like we do.
Right.
So we need that so we can start them outside and keep them in the shade, and then let them. He got to set up where the morning sun hits them, and then the evening sun they're shaded.
Yeah, they're shaded in the evening. So we just have to find a good place around here. I thought I brought a little bit of water over here. Let me go get your watering can and start putting a little bit of water on these just look a little dry. Let me go grab that.
Still got the seed. Still got the seed on it, hanging on the leaf.
Got the watering can all full. You ready for me to start?
That's Italian one.
Italian? I may need to go get some more markers and mark them. That is leggy.
Is there a deeper pot?
There was a bigger pot. I have to go get it. Oh, they're right here. Yeah. Sorry, they're down here. You want the brown one or you want a different one? That's not much deeper than that, is it? Let me get a bigger one. This blue one, that's a lot deeper. I'll go ahead and start kind of watering these up. Let's move that out of the way. They needed to be watered anyways. They're getting a little dry, weren't they? So you said this is the Italian zucchini? Yeah. Okay. What is this one right here? Are all of these the green?
All dark green.
Dark green? Okay. Just this one is the only one we have of the Italian zucchini that came up?
Yeah.
What is this one right here?
This is Italian.
Italian,
so
we have
2 out of 6, and we got 5 out of 6.
Okay.
So germination rate on these dark greens are a lot better. So I had on this last Italian squash, it's actually was really leggy. I got a taller pot so I can actually put it down in deep, trying to get it to stand up. But usually on leggy plants, we try not to, I do have some leggy plants here, or we do, that we're not probably going to be able to use. And hopefully this thing will recover and we can get it to harden off, and I'll let Sharon water these whenever.
Okay, so these 2 are the Italian zucchini, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll put those
There's
together.
There's one tag there, and there's that tag on the corner up there.
Italian zucchini, so
yep.
we're putting these 2 together.
Yep.
Okay. So what are we going to do now? We're going to go ahead and do the broccoli. I know they say that if you plant leggy broccoli, or you try to uppot leggy broccoli, that your heads of broccoli won't get as big. So Darren's going to go ahead and pot these up. Let me give you some soil. There you go. Let's put some soil. It's a good thing we're doing this outside. Last time we tried to seed start in the house, and my floor.
We did.
We did. And oh my word, our seed starting mix was all over the kitchen floor. And then we let our little granddaughter Scarlett was helping us that evening, and we have a little picnic table that we let the girls do their little crafts and stuff on. While they're there, they use that table. Well, we gave her her own little deal of potting mix. Oh my word. My house, I had some cleaning to do that evening, but she got to help her papa make the wicking tub the next day. So anyways, we've got 2 precious little granddaughters that love to help us do things. If you can pull them away from the sandbox. They both love to play in the sandbox. All right, so this is the Italian zucchini that I knocked over. All right. So that's the green magic broccoli. How many of the green magic broccoli do we have that germinated?
9.
9.
9 out of 12.
12. That's not too bad. I don't know about y'all, but getting a fall garden has always been a highlight of the fall season. Not quite to the pumpkin stage yet and decorating for fall, but I know I pulled some plants out of my little window boxes of a coop the other day. Well, it's September. I guess it's not too early to start decorating for fall, is it?
No.
Looking forward to the cooler temps. I know that, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love fall.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite seasons. I keep not Italian zucchini. I knocked it over with the soil bag again. Hopefully I don't kill the thing before it.
I only got 2 of them. Don't kill it. Pick on the other ones.
Yeah. I need to move it out of the way. I'll set it over here so I don't keep knocking it over.
We put a bunch of seeds in that one cell. Look at them all. 4 of them in that one. And all this stuff got lost up under here.
Yeah, the seeds were so small that night that we were planting it. I couldn't really see how many seeds I had put in some of those.
These are the marathon. We got 6 marathons. We planted a bunch of green magic. And I don't know. I can't remember if we did 12 green magic or 12 marathon, but one of them we did 12 of, and another one we did 6. So There's nothing in the center. It's a mystery row right here. So it's in between Marathon and it's in between Green Magic.
Oh yeah.
But they're all leggy, so it don't matter. We'll see.
No, we're gonna try planting them.
We're gonna have some broccoli, hopefully, Lord willing.
Yeah.
So this one out here just.
Good luck getting it out, huh?
I'll get it out.
It had a really good root system.
Yeah, you can take a cup of water and actually dip them, and then I broke some of the root. And you can actually separate these. So if you're buying these at the nursery, look for these that got 2 or 3 seed starts in one tray, one little container, and you can dip them in water. If you're gentle, you can separate them and plant them in separate pots, and you got
more plants.
4 for the price of 1.
Yep.
So them things are getting expensive if you buy them transplants already in the little ready to go plants. So if you separate them, I just broke one of them, but if you're very gentle, you can get them out like that, and you can drop that in the container. You can actually just gently untangle the roots a little bit more. The dirt will fall away a little bit easier. And this one here broke, so that's a casualty.
So.
Yep. And I got another one of 3 more. But if you go to the big box stores and you're buying your starts already like these right here, and then you pay $5 for this or $6, I don't know what they're going for now. If you find a double, you can separate them that way, and you can have 2 individual plants. So
right.
That's $5 savings.
Oh yeah, or more, depending on what they're going for. Yep. All right, well, let's get them potted up. So we've got most of the plants, the seedlings, potted up into their pots. All we have left is the arugula and the scarlet kale. We'll get those potted up, and the celery is not big enough to pot yet. But we've got the bobcat cabbage, all our cabbages that we planted, and our broccolis that we planted, and our mammoth broccoli. We've got our marathon broccoli planted, potted up, and we've also got our lettuces potted up. So the Salanova, yes. So anyways, we're gonna get finished with doing this, and then we, as always, have the cows that we need to go feed. So anyway, as always, Darren and I would like to thank you for joining us and spending your time with us. And we hope that you will join us in the next video.
Pray y'all have a blessed day, and we'll see you next time.
God bless everybody.